In this episode, there were some technical issues which were discovered after the recording was complete. After some deliberation, we have decided the recording was too captivating to not share, despite the technical issues. Sit back and enjoy the hyper-turbo wisdom delivered from this week's guest.
Welcome to Red Carpet Healthcare Solutions, hosted by Dr. Ryan Molli and Travis Buzzell. Join us on this journey as we educate the patient population, inform today's medical providers, and inspire tomorrow's medical leaders through education and in-depth discussions. We can all discover today's best healthcare solutions. Now, sit back and enjoy Red Carpet Healthcare Solutions Private Practice Podcasters.
If our client has a book now kind of module on their site, that's great. It takes less burden from their staff and a patient can just go in and book. The majority of our conversions happen through a phone, but it depends on the client. So this client, we're coming up on the third month, I said. We're not doing a match back from them, but they have received a ton of they have a toggle that's every time someone hits the button on the phone number. So that's rang 110 times. Now, I want to be clear. Not everybody's going to hit that button. Not every one of those 110 clicks is going to be a patient. It might be. It might be someone calling for a question. So we don't have that final attribution. But we go by, it takes impressions to get clicks, to get phone calls, to get patients, right? So we're on the front end, we're the tip of the spear in terms of identifying the people who we need to communicate with, showing them an ad, getting them to take action.
I love so for me, Seth, because obviously we've had this conversation, a number of times. With you, with other web developers and, app developers and those sort of things. But the thing that I love about this conversation with you and most of the conversations that we have is you have a very clear process of describing kind of the science behind what you're doing. And I don't know, for me, it's just it's comforting because we've had this conversation where it's yeah, no, we're going to do this and people are going to start calling you. It's okay, how? How are you going to make that happen? Mailers, what are you going to do? Oh, we're going to, we got this website, we're going to send out, we're going to do, and it's just I never really have gotten an answer of what that process looks like. And now I knew this before this conversation because we've had it before, but I very clearly understand the process of okay, this equals this can convert to this, right? But it doesn't always happen like that. But it's you have to get here first before you get here. And this is the byproduct if we can kind of funnel this the right way. And I just feel your process and what you do and how you describe it, not just with words, but with the enthusiasm. You've always just been kind of a very high energy. I love that. And it how bought into this process you are. It's for me and as entrepreneurs and business owners looking to use that service. It's I get why people are buying into this, and obviously the results speak for themselves. And our upcoming venture and project that we won't talk about, but I'm pumped for is why I'm feeling even better about sort of this conversation and stuff we're talking about, because I have I just have a good understanding of that process, where before I'm dude, Siri's listening to me and I'm Googling shit, and that's how I'm buying new shoes and baseball bats and all. Do you know what I'm saying?
And that works too.
True.
Meanwhile,
it's not
baseball
not
bats.
It's not
We could find you. I bet, Travis, we could find you on a sports medicine campaign
searching,
in the area.
This is a PG
Yeah, see,
podcast.
that's the thing, Doc. We don't care. All we need to know is that this person is active lifestyle, lives in a certain radius,
So crazy.
and buys this stuff. Like, we don't care what you do online, Travis.
So I had something that did pop into my head during this conversation that I wanted to ask you. So the neurosurgeon that made the video about the barbecue. So where did he live? Because I'm curious.
Dayton, Ohio.
Dayton, Ohio. I'm like thinking of like maybe like a Memphis or like a place where there's like a barbecue. What was the spot?
I forget the name.
Damn. Like
I don't live in Dayton.
I'm going to Dayton this weekend to try the barbecue. I'm bought into
I'll
this
find
right
out.
now.
I'll find out.
Yeah, let me know. I was just kind of curious.
What's your style of barbecue, Travis? What's your favorite cut? What are you into?
So yeah, I mean, I'm a brisket guy. Like just like good brisket, you just cannot mess it up. But also a rib guy, and so I used
Pork
to
or beef?
Great question. Pork. Pork ribs are sort of my thing. Beef ribs are, I mean, can't really go wrong, but pork ribs is just maybe traditionally the places that I've gone, what I've gotten. But I like vinegar slaw. I'm not like a mayo-based slaw guy. And there's a little spot in Memphis, actually, a part of my old life. I would travel there a lot. It's called Rendezvous.
Yeah.
It's dude, it's out of this world. It's like
It's famous.
It's famous. I mean, it is like it's hole in the wall though. Like it is wild.
As it should be.
But like
There ain't no such thing as fancy barbecue.
some of my favorite spots though, like he introduced me to a wing place kind of down his neck of the woods where, you know, where I wouldn't have ever ventured down there. And I'm just like, okay. I mean, we tried to go there a couple weeks ago. I am not shitting you. Sorry. Bleep that out.
It was
Jay.
St. Patrick's Day weekend. It was a Saturday before. I figured out why it was so busy.
I'm
too, by
telling
the
you,
way.
I'm like,
That's
there
why. Yeah,
aren't
it
enough
was
people
jammed.
that live in this town for that many cars to be in this parking lot. I mean, it was literally wild. I'm like, are they
They
giving?
had a Scottish bagpipe festival there that night.
There aren't enough people that do that to even make it that busy. I mean, seriously, I thought they were
was-
giving out free food. It was packed.
How do you guys like your wings?
Oh, they got to be
We're-
crispy.
We couldn't be polar opposite from this, by the way.
Well, I know wings. He may know barbecue, but I know wings. This dude eats a drum. He's holding onto the fat piece. He's not holding onto the part that God created, the handle, the small end of the drum. He's holding onto the big
Interesting.
part, and he's putting the bone end into his mouth. Yeah.
Ergonomically, it makes sense.
No,
if you-
ergonomically, it doesn't make any sense. The part that has all the meat on it is the big fat end. You hold on to the drumstick part.
I can confirm.
It's like a handle. Like you
Yeah,
said.
it's a
Doc.
handle.
Listen, I can confirm with the
I
amount.
can confirm you're the only individual on planet Earth that
The
eats
amount of
a
wings
drum.
that this guy eats, okay, I can just tell you right now, his accountant and the IRS think that without looking at him, he's like Jabba the Hutt or something. They're like, I don't understand when this guy goes out for business meetings. He eats more chicken wings than anyone I've ever met in my whole life.
So they got to be.
how
They
many-
got to have the right
gotta be-
size. They got to have the right crisp. I am a. My favorite is a particular sauce called golden garlic. So it's a mixture of a hot buffalo and like a butter and garlic, but they put
Yes.
celery seeds in it at this place that I go to, which really just
Amplifies it.
yeah, it's just
And you said size. Are you a small crispy guy?
they
Or
can't
you,
be too big. If they're too big, they're
Yeah.
just disgusting to me. And if they're too small, they're too dried out. So it's like there's
point,
a
yeah.
perfect wing size, and it's Hunter's Inn in Guys Mills, Pennsylvania. Or actually, it's Frenchtown, Pennsylvania is the address.
That's
But
bomb. I'm a flats guy. Flats,
Yeah.
extra
flats.
crispy, like
that would
honey.
explain why you don't know how to eat a drum.
I mean, honestly,
Fair. I think you just
Honey-
cracked the code, Doc. That makes a lot
honey
of sense.
Cajun or like mild. If we go to Hunters, their honey Cajun is, I don't know if they like farm that honey on their own or what, but I mean, it just,
It's crack infused.
oh, dude, they're
Yeah.
so good. But we go to a spot
Keeps
here.
them coming back.
Hey, you need to come up here and visit us because we'll
Yeah,
take them to
seriously. So we
I
gotta
would
get the
definitely do it.
stash
And
up here.
I gotta be totally honest with you. Like I know my way around some wings and some ribs and stuff, but it's been a minute. The last time I had wings, the mustache is just like I gotta be near a sink or like kind of, and you're not making wings at home. I mean, I have in the air fryer, and it's doable, but
That's a
like,
good point.
man, the amount of wet naps I go through, it's just
It's
like,
fine.
it's-
No one
it's
judges it. Hey,
unacceptable.
trust me, if you went to this place, you would understand. No one's judging.
Oh, yeah, I'm getting dirty. No, for sure.
Oh, yeah, you're definitely getting dirty.
Yeah.
So the
yeah,
beard
I mean,
went there
way to do it.
last Thursday night with
Oh,
me.
did he really? How'd he
Yeah.
do?
We crushed it.
Crushed it.
We crushed it. He loved them.
You know, my brother-in-law, he's got this thing. He doesn't eat anything with his hands. And when I first met him before my assistant he got married, I was like, "Well, what do you do with a sandwich?" He's like, "I don't eat them." I'm like, "Okay, what
Like a
about chicken
hamburger?
wings?" Yeah, he's like, "I don't eat them."
Is
Like,
he?
what about chicken wings?
Is
He
he
goes,
George
"Knife and
Costanza?
fork."
Knife and fork.
Yeah, right. The chocolate bar.
Yeah.
Knife and fork on the chicken wings, and I'm like, man, I gotta see this. And I've seen him do it. And Doc, I've never seen you perform, but I've heard stories like about your hands and like the way you look at like he is surgical. It is really, really impressive the amount of meat that he gets off.
Where does
off
he?
chicken
Does
wing
he
bone
live
and
in
stuff.
Florida, like near you?
Yeah, he does. He
Okay,
He's got to
I-
be eating drums because
I need a
think
video.
eating a flat with
Yeah,
a
need a
knife and
video.
fork would be tough.
Deal.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he can do it. I'm gonna set that up. I'm gonna make it happen, and you're gonna be like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
During your
Some
visit, tell
skills.
him I'll pay for his flight to come up here.
Yeah,
I
he's
want to
just
see
like-
in person.
The special
He would
guest.
probably do it. He would probably do it.
Tell him I want to hang
He would-
out.
he would
And
do
if
it. That's
if
great.
at Hunters, if he asked for a knife and fork, they'd be like, for what?
Oh,
You
dude,
got
yeah,
wings.
get out.
Yeah, they might actually make him after he's done eating, like wash his own dishes in the back.
He probably would not do that. I don't know. Maybe he might just be like, "Well, I don't need this. I'll go get my own wings." But I'm into it. It's called Hunters.
Oh yeah, Hunter's Inn. Yeah, great
Hunter's Inn.
story too. So,
Is it? I love a place with a good story.
how many people do you have at your agency?
Man, that's the fun part.
3?
It's me and my business partner.
Just 2?
It's me and my business partner.
Wow.
We don't have overhead. We have vendors. We have vendors that are more than vendors, but we pretty much run it. And he's on the data side, and I am client facing. So we had a project manager, didn't work out. And I feel like, I don't know, maybe it's a control thing, and maybe it's me not seeing the big picture. But Matthew Ray Scott said something a long time ago, back in 2019, when I was really was introduced to him, and it rang very true for me about how small is big enough.
Yeah.
And I'm not looking for 50 clients. I'm not looking for a big shiny office in a building and a big staff and, you know, all of these things. Like, I'm looking to enjoy what I do. I'm looking to have the time to be able to drop my son off at school with my wife and both pick him up from school and like take off if we want to, or there's something going on, and like still be able to maintain and manage and maintain the level of service. And I'm not quite at the strict no asshole policy
I was
yet.
going to say,
That
have you
doesn't
turned
mean-
people down yet?
That doesn't mean that our clients are assholes. I haven't turned people down, but I have not
Followed up. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just like, okay, cool. And you know, when you do something so often, and I don't like to profile, but I
You
will.
love to
No,
profile. What are you talking
well,
about?
That's what
you
you do
do.
for a living.
Like-
What are you talking
no,
about?
No, not like that. I'm talking about with my prospects, right?
Oh.
Based on conversations, I can kind of I get a sense of how this is going to go down.
Yeah.
I can tell. I'm surprised sometimes, which is great. I love it to be surprised, like you guys did.
I feel like if
Top of
I'm
the show.
drawing like kind of an inference from that, it's sort of like builders or like like construction guys. Like they'll just price themselves out of doing something you've experienced. That,
Right.
where-
Oh wait, you're gonna.
You know,
I've never done that.
Yeah, where
I've
it's
never
like, oh
priced it
shit,
so
man,
high
this is
because I
gonna
don't want
cost
to. I
you,
just-
and you get the number, and you're like, that's 3 times what I think it should. But then if that person's like, okay, that's fine, then you're just like, oh shit. No,
I mean, but then
all
it's
right,
like
well
it's
now
worth
now it's worth it, right? So
Yeah,
but
okay.
that's the thing that's always interesting to me is like, I think for me specifically, and he could definitely attest to this, like I'm not like a is it worth it to me money guy. Like I try to provide as much value as I can, and if there is like perceived like compensation involved in that value, I feel like it will eventually get to that point. Like rather than like forcing it and like there's like a disappointment or like expectations aren't met. You know, I mean, obviously what I do like my day to day, but like just in general, it's just sort of like, you know what, man, like, is it worth it? Like, is there, like, there's not like an amount of money that I would ever, you know, be like, you know what, man, I'm not going to this baseball game tonight. Sorry, Mav, I can't take you to school in the morning. Kind of like similar to what you're talking about. It's just like, I don't know. And maybe I'm just like weird, but I just don't. I'd rather do the things with the people that I'm around that are in my circle that I trust and I know that will have my back, and we'll do it. And if I'm just having a weird week, like I can text any one of these guys and just say, I'm having an off week. I'm not going to be as productive or as like inclusive with some of these conversations as I normally am. And I never catch anything from any of them. You know what I mean?
Anything? They're not even going to give you like, they're not going to zing you just the
I
least
mean,
bit,
listen,
even
that's just,
playfully?
that's baseline though. The zingers, that's, you know, that has nothing to do
Yeah,
with the off
fair.
weeks. That's just, I saw something the other day that friends, groups of people, whatever, that tend to nag or, you know, kind of poke fun at one another are like 300% more likely to have whatever long-term friendships. And if that's the case, then me and this dude are going to be buried next to each other, I think. So.
I think that's true, and I think it's really true with guys and their friend groups.
Yeah.
You know, the difference here's one difference. I'm gonna try this bit out on you. It's not a bit. I don't do stand up. My
don't believe
wife
a word he
and
says,
her
ever.
girlfriends, they planned a night out, like a dinner, and it was 2 weeks prior to the date, and every day there was about at least four different texts back and forth, and this one didn't, and this and changing the spot like 14 times, and it was just like this epic just like lead up to this thing, and it's just dinner. Whereas I went out to dinner with my friends, and it was like, hey guys, Thursday night, Flanagan's, 7 p.m., the one on Palmetto Park Road. Cool, I'm in. Cool, I'll see you there. Oh man, I'll be a little late. Show up and that's it. 7 o'clock. We're there or not, and like it's like, okay, I don't know what. And so I was kind of, you know, making fun of her, and it's not. I don't think that's unique. Nah, I'm not making fun of her
Definitely
like that.
not.
But, like that's kind of like, you know, it's just like, all right, guys, we're just gonna like, yeah, this is what we're doing. Great.
It is what it is, right?
Much ado about nothing.
Yeah, my wife, she can tell me something on Monday, and I'm like, there's no way in hell that's happening on Friday. And it's not because I'm changing the plans. I'm like, okay. And then Tuesday, it's like, well, we changed. We're going to go here instead, and we're going to do 6:30 instead of 7. And I'm like, by Friday, there's going to be 4 more versions of this. So
That's yet another pivot.
Hey, speaking
Right.
of pivoting, I do have, you know, one other
we got to
question.
get back on track here.
Yeah. Well, no, this is good because this is related to this in a way. So you had mentioned your business partner, and so it's kind of curious. Like, so you're the client facing piece, obviously, like in all these conversations. But like, walk me through that. Like your partner. Like, how did you guys meet? The relationship.
Yeah.
What does that look like? And I mean, honestly, I mean, I guess. All of my partners, we're very good friends outside of our day-to-day stuff and all the ventures and things that we do. But like, what does that look like for you?
Yeah. I met this guy through.
Does he have a
we
name?
had
Does he
another
want to remain anonymous, or
He does want to remain anonymous.
Okay. That's fine.
He's
I
totally
like that,
fine
actually.
with like not being
I
like,
really
you
like
know, he's
that.
like,
Batman.
oh, he's like, and that's it.
Yeah.
Travis. He's fine being like, no, I don't need like, I'm on LinkedIn, and he's like, I see your stuff all the time, and like, oh, this is funny, this is it's good, okay.
I'm gonna find
But
him.
like, he's like, I don't need to like, you know, I don't. That's not him. So respect. But it's yin yang, right? So I met this guy through. We had another partner when we started the company, and that partner was my father's first business partner. Follow me here. We got this whole thing years ago. My father was in medical device, and he worked for a small company called Medtronic. I don't know if you've heard of them. He sold TENS units right back in the 70s and 80s.
This
And,
is your father.
This is my dad.
Okay.
And his name's Byron, white guy.
Does he have a stash?
Only white guy I know named Byron. So medical
Lord
device
Byron.
is Lord. Yes, definitely. And so our other partner was my dad's first business partner named Frank. And Frank was working with this guy. And so we're talking about opportunity and like this whole hyper targeting thing and
Hyper turbo targeting.
Yeah. Come on,
turbo
please.
targets. My bad.
Hyper turbo.
TT.
Hyper Turbo
Yeah.
HT.
You write the
Deluxe
notes
one.
down right there. This one.
Yeah, I am.
I don't want you to get it wrong
Um,
next time.
seriously, so bad. Respect, Molly. And so I went up. I flew up to where they were, and I met the two of them. And my partner, he's a little younger than the other guy, and I don't know. We clicked, and we get each other. Very different backgrounds, very different. He's a family man as well. We definitely come together on a lot of that stuff. And he's just thoughtful and very experienced, very
How
smart.
old is he?
And I think he's 45, 44,
Oh,
46.
so I'm picturing your father's business partner. I was
He's
picturing
older.
somebody like in his 70s or 80s.
Yeah, he's older. And we covered a lot of ground with that gentleman. It just came to the point where he decided that this isn't what he wanted to do at that point in his life. I mean, and we're kind of like, I'm building a family and growing this thing, and everybody has to kind of, do everything we can to make this happen. You guys know what that's like.
Yeah.
And if, and it was his decision, and it was totally amicable, and all good. But, that's just like one of the iterations of a business that has to kind of like evolve, and it's this living, breathing thing. But my partner and I, we get along great, and he's a good person, right? And all that other stuff, being really smart and good at business, and like having an understanding of healthcare from a data perspective as well as a device perspective, and really from a consultancy level, um, extremely valuable.
So there's just two of you. You've got to have this target, right? That's like, all right, here's where we are. Here's where we started. And you really enjoy it. I can sense it, the process, your partner, everything. Getting bigger is not always getting better, right? You mentioned it earlier, the Matthew Ray Scott, like how small is big enough. And Marty Nichols had a great book that he suggested for me, which was called Small Giants. Fantastic book. If you haven't read it, read it. And I feel like whole health is one of those small giants, right? Like we make a big impact, but we're not the Rothman Institute. We're not Cleveland Clinic. We're not Mayo. We're not even joint implant surgeons, my mentors in Columbus. And intentionally, right? Like if anything, I see us potentially getting smaller before we get bigger. Do you have a target, like clientele in mind for you? Like, is there like, all right, once we get to this many clients, something's going to have to give, whether it's the quality of service we give, or we're going to have to hire more people. And are you okay with just settling in at that target?
So that's a really good question. And I wish I could answer it by saying I'm very intentional and I know all of our KPIs and our targets, but unfortunately, Doc, I don't. What I do know is that I'm going to be like my own bandwidth is going to be tested. And then it's like, it will have to be a decision made. I'm not there yet. I almost got there one time, but then I implemented different systems and processes to kind of streamline it. And a lot of the things that I thought I needed to do, I didn't. I made that up. And like just kind of bouncing it off of my partner, he's like, well, why are you doing that? What about this? Why can't we just do it like this? And I'm like, oh, yeah, why can't we do it like that? That is actually the right and smart way to do it. So I think that balance. I don't know where it's going to go, and I don't have a target. And I probably should, or at least should not be talking about it like that.
No, I guess do you have
I'm not.
Like if your tank is 50% full, 75% full, and I don't need a number, but like, do you like? I feel like 2019, you guys are getting more and more popular. Your presence, your visibility on LinkedIn is growing. And I would say, I'm guessing that's probably your biggest referral source is people seeing you, following you, and what you do on LinkedIn. So I'm taking a stab in the dark. I'm thinking you're at 75%. That's just my guess.
Well, it's funny that you say 75%, because 75% is where we are in our LinkedIn conversions. The last 3 of 4 clients that we've onboarded have all been just from my LinkedIn. So not exactly. I'm 75%. No, I'm not at 75% right now. And a lot of it has to do with how do I say this without sounding like a total dick?
Just
How I,
do it,
how
baby.
I,
We
how I,
we have
how
an
I,
edit button, so you can say it however the hell you want, and then we can
Do
always
you.
just
no,
edit it
no.
out.
So like it comes down to how I kind of train our clients in terms of like what they can expect and how we work. Like I'm not the kind of guy that will sit on an email for 24 hours after I read it just to do it. Like, no, we keep it moving.
I mean,
Keep it moving.
I get it though, because I mean, full transparency, like we had a conversation like a year ago.
A little over a year ago.
Yeah, and like at that time, it just maybe wasn't exactly aligned with what we were doing. But like, I'll be honest with you, and especially with him, I mean, even though at that time that project wasn't like a good fit for like what exactly we wanted to do, I mean, dude, that mustache just stuck in the back of my head. No, more than that, but it was always like, hey, like, and then as things evolved and as we pivot and as things change, like it was like you were sort of like front of mind to be like, hey, let's
But that's it.
revisit this. And so,
That's the strategy.
yeah, and we
Top of
kind of
mind,
did.
just like
And
Dr. Molly said. But I think it's more than that because I am not interested, and I say this all the time on my calls. I'm not interested in trying to force a square peg into a round hole. I'm not trying to like let's force it and make it work. And oh well, if you act now, like we're getting towards the end of the month and like prices might go up. Like no, I'm not like it either is or it isn't. And if we can make it work and it seems like this makes sense for everybody, like okay, well then let's explore how we can actually make it work and let's do it. And if not, that's okay too. I have a surgeon. I've been talking to him for like, I don't know, maybe 2 years. And he came back around a couple months ago and he texted me. He's like, well, you wore me down, Seth. You wore me down with all your content. And I've been following you this whole time. And I'm ready. I'm ready to do it. It makes sense. I get it. So let's have a call. And I was like, man, so I don't like to slam a door closed. Like, I'll just like be over here. And when you're ready or not, like, whatever, it's all good. All good things in good time.
Yeah, no, that's how I am in personal and professional relationships. Is if you force it, it's not genuine, it's not authentic, and it's probably not going to work. And it may work for a very short period of time, but it's not going to be sustainable. So for me, it's got to feel good intuitively, organically. It needs to make sense. There needs to be a relationship. There needs to be trust. There needs to be a full understanding of like, all right, these are the services that we're providing. These are the expectations, and whether or not those expectations are met are partly on us and partly on, for this relationship, you. But I think one of the big things too with any relationship is just communication. So the next question I have for you is like, all right, you're in a project with a client and you're say 3 months in, things aren't going as planned. Is this the time to pull the ripcord? Is this the time to rally the troops? Is this the time to just regroup and say, hey, here was our strategy? Is there a way to diagnose where the foul up happened? Was it the phones weren't being answered?
Sure.
What's your strategy there for just ensuring success for your clients?
Yeah. So first and foremost, it's not going to be 3 months before we have this conversation, right? This is going to be 2 weeks in, take your temperature, like, hey, this is what we're seeing. What are you seeing? And what we're learning is that, I would much rather getting a new client is difficult. It's hard. So rather than churn, like maintain. It's one thing to get a client. It's another thing to keep a client.
Yeah.
And I found that the best way to do that is by being completely transparent. And if it's not working after a couple weeks, there's different things that we can do. Is it an issue with the creative? Is it an issue with your site? Is it an issue with the copy? Is it an issue with the site's performance? Now, we don't do websites, but we can see once we start running a campaign based on the traffic, we can tell whether our ads are performing as they should or if not. And then we can iterate and we can test other versions of the creative to see. And if a click-through rate isn't where we want it to be, well, we need to fix it. And we will fix it, and then we will relaunch, and then let's give it 10 days of running impressions, and let's see what that is. So it's like we're constantly kind of like measuring and testing and tasting, right, the batter to make sure, like, is this how are we now? How are we now? And once we get it right, a lot of times we launch and the phone rings. And we've been reaching an audience of people that, like, usually in the first month, the phone is going to ring. And these are the people that are in need, that feel like something fell into their lap. And like, well, how easy is this? Because we all know what, gymnastics, physical and mental, we have to do when we search for something and then look at the reviews and check out the site. Where are they? And does this take the insurance? And can I get an appointment? Whatever that gauntlet is. So as long as we are upfront and we're in this together with our clients and they know that gives them the peace of mind. Are we in this like 6-month program that all we're doing is testing and learning? I mean, let's establish that up front, right? So we can develop a game plan. And so our client's not like, what are you guys doing? Like, how come, like, what? If we're all on the same page, and it gets back to that communication thing, if we're all on the same page, we can all do the work and work together. If we're not communicating, if we're not in alignment, if there's not trust and respect and an understanding, the project will probably not work. It might, and then you can just kind of fix it. But like, that's not, like you said, Doc, have you ever done something really great and impactful when the people that you're doing it with, you're kind of like, nah, I don't really like, I don't know. Maybe. Is it transactional, or is it like, are you building something?
Yeah.
If it's transactional, well, then that's fine. We're not trying to hang out or whatever. Just like, I give you this and you give me that. And then, okay, thank you. But if it's more than that, it has to be more than that.
Yeah. No, great
Just
stuff.
fluxing.
I love that. That is
Fluxing.
Just fluxing.
I love it.
We just created a new verb and
A new thing.
Seth, spring break, man.
2 steps
Here at
ahead.
PA.
Bring break. Hey, I got a question for you, Doc. You said that it was January 1st of 2018, right?
Yep.
What was Christmas like 2017? What was that season like, Christmas and New Year's, for you and your family?
Well,
Do you remember it?
I know not necessarily that particular holiday, but I made the decision in February of 2017. I sent my current employers, there was 3 orthopedic surgeons that I was a part of a practice of. Again, I was their employed physician. They were all partners. And I had been there a year and 2 months year and 3 months. I started November of 2015.
Mm-hmm.
A couple months in 15, all of 16, and then 2 months in 17. And I realized at that point that this wasn't the right fit. And the guy that I was replacing kind of foreshadowed it for me and said, I would not be surprised if in a couple years, what you're doing is its own separate entity. And I was like, what do you mean? And he went into some details that I don't really necessarily want to share right now, but he could not have been more accurate with that foreshadowing. So February was when I delivered the letter and I started my planning. I started an LLC through Rocket Lawyers. I didn't have an attorney at the time, so I just went online, created my own LLC, Whole Health Joint Replacement Institute. It was one employer, one employee, me, and I was very, very strategic behind the scenes with how this was going to happen. When the announcement was made kind of to my team, which were employees of the previous practice, 100% of them came with me when January 1st, 2018 rolled around, which I think speaks volumes as to kind of what I was building and what my mantra was at the time. Some have come, some have left. you know, it's like anything. It's in flux. We're fluxing, but I can tell you that there was excitement, just like there's excitement right now. Because Friday night, Matthew Ray Scott was sitting right there. Travis was sitting right there. I was sitting here. And my business manager, Sean McKinnon, was sitting over there. There was anxiety in the air. There was nervousness. There was excitement. There was disappointment. There was all these emotions going on in this room. But it didn't take me more than 12 hours, and I was back to fully committed to my vision. And since that moment, when I woke up and my wife was like, Rye, you got this, I haven't wavered in my next mission, my next goal, my next whole health experience type of thing. So I'm that guy that loves to create things. I'm a guy that once I'm committed to something, I'm going to see it through. I'm going to, no matter how many obstacles or, bullets get shot my way, I'm going to find my way through that with great people like Travis, Sean, just my tribe. And, it's just exciting. So I think Christmas was exciting. It was probably a little nerve wracking because I was like, I wanted it to be perfect. It's like, here's the new baby. But it was, failure's not an option. And that's always been my motto, is failure's not an option. We're going to make it work.
I love it. I love it. Was it really awkward for your former employer when all those people just came with you?
Probably no more awkward than it was for 2 years while we still shared the same office and we had a divider going down the middle of the lobby saying whole health to the left, this previous practice to the right, and receptionists were sitting next to each other and people were calling, asking for me, the old number, and they'd say, oh, he's no longer here. And they say, oh, do you know where he went? No, we're not sure where he went. Or he's no longer operating, or we'll give you his number. And they give it to him and they give the number, but with one digit incorrect. So that was a little bit more awkward.
That's some pettiness right there.
Yeah.
Oh, that is Tom Petty. It is.
That is
It is
Petty LaBelle.
It's Petty.
That's something. How uncomfortable. for
But
them.
you know what? It makes it
That's a
sweeter
shame.
now because, as you mentioned earlier, like nothing that's really worth it is easy, right? So these dreams, these goals, we all have children. I think one of the biggest life lessons that I can give to them, we have 3 boys, my wife and I, is, and when they say math is it's impossible, it's so difficult. I'm like, no, it's not. It's actually math. So there's always a right answer. But I was like, life's not going to get any easier as you go, right? But I'll tell you one thing, those difficult situations when they arise, you can either run from it and you can be mediocre, or you can face it head on, face that challenge, face that obstacle. And there's another great book called The Obstacle is the Way. I think it's Ryan Holiday wrote that one. I don't know if you've ever read that, but it's a great book. And it's all about stoicism.
We just finished it when leadership.
Is it Ryan Holiday?
It is,
Yeah. And it's all about just like stoicism and just like when you confront an obstacle, not trying to be like, oh, this is uncomfortable. I'm going to dance to the left, dance to the right. Like sometimes the easiest way is just right fucking through it. So, I'm going to get off my soapbox right now, but just that's just my mentality.
I think your soapbox is awesome, and I think it's inspiring. And look, one of the things that drew me to you was exactly what you've built, and it's kind of like a beacon of private practice. It's a beacon of hope for all of the patients you serve, and it's just I don't know, from what I know about it, at least from the outside looking in here in the cheap seats, it's the real deal. Right. And I think inspiring to all of those employed physicians who might not be so happy, but they feel stuck. Like, there's always hope. Just what do you want? What do you want to do? Right. And
Well,
people can
I
do
tell
it.
you what I want to do. I want to get you up here so you can see it firsthand
100%.
instead of just
would love it.
through
I'm waiting
photos
to
or
wait.
videos or websites. And, I think it's always fun to sit with energetic people entrepreneurial people brainstorm, whiteboard, come down here to the wine cellar, and
treehouse.
we turn the cameras off, we shut the door, and it becomes like what happens in here stays in here. So
I don't
Man,
know if I
it's,
like that,
it's
to be honest with you.
exclusive club, a little intimidating,
hold
but
on,
I'm into
hold
it.
on,
man.
Jay.
I'm like,
I'm out on that. Put that there. That's not.
we have a 5-gallon drum of wing sauce over there, and you know what happens here, or have some wine.
and they're all all the wings are drums too, by the way.
Yeah, hold on. Molli party TM. Just that's a new thing now.
There it is. There it is. That's the fluxing room over there. We don't need to know what goes on over there. Too much fun.
Well, hey, Seth, I can't thank you enough for the time. I mean, I could literally just have this conversation the rest of the night and bust out another bottle of wine. So.
I could too. And I got to tell you, long time viewer, first time guest. So this is kind of like one of those things that I'm like, am I here right now?
Oh, dude,
I wish you were here right now. It's always better in person.
It made so much sense.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it makes a ton of sense. And
you guys are the best. And I think you guys are a lot of the hope in healthcare, and you guys are doing it right. And I think we're all looking to you and watching you, and I'm happy to know you and honored to be on the show.
Well, I guess for people that want to learn more about you, CMM, you and your partner's business, how you can really help elevate the private practice experience, the private practice sustainable model with your marketing campaigns and your unique marketing style, how can they find you?
LinkedIn is probably the best way. Again, my name is Seth Turnoff. You can just search for me and you might find me there. I hang out there once in a while.
Well, Seth, as always, it's a pleasure, whether I'm just interacting with you on LinkedIn, through email, but it's always great in person. Again, the invitation is there. We'd love to have you come in person. And
it's going to happen. It's
I
going to
think
be
it'd
glorious.
be very, very valuable for everybody. And you're going to eat some good chicken wings too. So, and for our guests out there, what's that, Seth?
The wings alone is worth it, but all that other stuff, pretty good too.
I'm going to shave my beard too and just have a mustache. So obviously, let's make this
And
happen.
I'm just going to start growing a mustache until then. It's going to be gray, but it's fine.
It's fine.
Message me. I can help you on your mustache journey, Doc.
Love it. I got to get some wax and get the handles going, but
I'll get you set up with all that stuff. You just call me Coach.
Put me in, Coach. Do our little outro with
So for all our viewers, thank you so much. Like, subscribe. If there's anybody, guests that you can think about, topics, things that you're interested in hearing about, please subscribe, link, comment, let us know down this way. As always, my man, thank you so much.
It's always a lot of fun.
Appreciate it. It's one of those
You
things.
finally got to drink the bottle of wine that you brought me that I drank with somebody else.
The second one, because the first one was gone. Yes, thank you. But a little different in this closing. I want to thank you because we do this on Wednesday nights or Sunday mornings generally. But like I sincerely enjoy the time. We're taking time away from our families and rushing around after our busy days at work. And I cannot think of anyone else that I'd rather do this with. So thank you.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you.
I echo that. I give you a lot of shit, but
dude, so much shit, but it's fine.
But it's worth it. Yeah. Great friendships are, few and far between for me. My circle's small, but love you, bud. And Seth, again, want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming on the show. It's been great. And looking forward to collaborating with you and sharing kind of our experience with you to other private practice owners and physicians. And hey, guests out there, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you soon.
Red carpet out.
Out.
As a disclaimer, this podcast is for general informational purposes only and does not constitute the practice of medicine, nursing, or other professional healthcare services, including the giving of medical advice. No doctor-patient relationship is formed. The use of this information and the materials linked to this podcast is at the user's own risk. The content on this podcast is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Users should not disregard or delay in obtaining medical advice from any medical condition they have, and they should seek the assistance of their healthcare professional from any such conditions.